The first time I told Ethan Reyes to shove his ego down the nearest trash can. I didn't expect him to laugh. And I definitely didn't expect that laugh to haunt me at night like some kind of twisted lullaby. America loves its high school heroes. The towering, golden boys who can toss a ball through a hoop and instantly be crowned gods. At Ridgeway High, Ethan wasn't just a basketball player, was the basketball player. 6'3", cocky grin, a body carved from hours in the gym, and a fan club that screamed his name every time he took off his hoodie in the hallway. Me. I was the loudmouth who worked the school newspaper. The guy who thought exposing the hypocrisy of pep rallies was an act of civil justice. So naturally, the day I wrote an editorial about the basketball team being a bunch of self-absorbed demigods prancing around in sneakers, my fate was sealed. By lunchtime, Ethan slammed my article down on my cafeteria tray, ketchup smearing across the paper like a bloodstain. "You got a death wish, Parker." His voice was low, casual, but his eyes were fire. I swallowed hard, then smirked. "Nah, just a truth wish." The table went silent. My friends avoided my gaze, and Ethan Reyes leaned down, close enough that I could smell the faint trace of sweat and cologne on his skin. "Careful what you wish for," he muttered. That should have been the end of it. A warning. A chance for me to back down. But backing down has never been my style. The next day, I doubled down in print. I called him out by name. Said he wasn't just arrogant, but predictable like every other jock who peaked in high school and would probably end up managing a gas station someday. Savage. Maybe. Stupid. Absolutely. That Friday night, when the gym emptied out after practice, I should have known better than to linger on the court, taking notes for my next piece. The sound of sneakers squeaking on polished wood behind me made my heart stutter. Writing another love letter to me, Parker. I turned, and there he was, sweat-soaked jersey clinging to his chest, his hair damp, his grin wolfish. He tossed the ball once, caught it, and let it roll to the side. Then he stepped closer. "You think you know me?" His voice was soft now, dangerously soft. "I think I know your type." I shot back, forcing my chin up. He closed the distance between us in 3 strides. His hand hit the wall beside my head, the slam echoing through the empty gym. I froze, breath caught in my throat. His face hovered just inches from mine, dark eyes boring into me with a mixture of anger and something else I couldn't name. "You don't know a damn thing about me." Should have terrified me. Should have made me run. But instead, my pulse spiked for an entirely different reason. One I didn't want to admit. His nearness wasn't just threatening, it was magnetic. I scoffed, trying to mask the heat rising in my cheeks. "What? You gonna prove me wrong by flexing those muscles at me?" Real convincing, Reyes. But Ethan didn't move. He just stayed there, his chest rising and falling, his lips parting as if he wanted to say more. Then almost imperceptible gaze dropped to my mouth. My throat went dry. For a suspended second, the world shrank to the space between us. The empty bleachers, the flicker of fluorescent lights above, the faint thump of my heartbeat in my earset all faded until it was just him and me. And the terrifying, intoxicating possibility hanging in the air. He pulled back before I could do something reckless. Like lean in. "Careful, Parker," he said, voice husky. "You keep pushing me. You won't like what happens." but the tremor in his voice betrayed him. The days that followed were a blur of sharp words and stolen glances. He'd smirk at me in the hallway, and I'd roll my eyes, but my stomach would betray me by flipping anyway. At lunch, when our friends weren't watching, I catch him studying me like I was a puzzle he couldn't solve. And late at night, when I should have been working on my journalism piece, I'd find myself remembering the way his breath had ghosted across my skin in that gym. It was insane. He was everything I claimed to hate: arrogant, adored, untouchable. And yet, something about the way he looked at me, the way he seemed almost lonely despite the crowd always around him, gnawed at me. One night, I stayed late at the school library, lost in an article draft. When I finally stepped outside, the parking lot was empty except for one figure leaning casually against a car. "Ethan, you stalking me now?" I tried to keep my tone sharp, but my pulse betrayed me. "Funny. I was about to ask you the same thing," he said, pushing off the car. His jacket hung loose, his breath visible in the cool night air. He stepped closer. "You ever get tired of pretending?" "Pretending what?" I asked, though my voice cracked. "That you hate me." The silence that followed was unbearable. I should have laughed, deflected, thrown some sarcastic jab. But the truth sat heavy in my chest, impossible to deny. And when he leaned in, slower this time, giving me a chance to pull away, I didn't. His lips brushed mine, tentative at first, then more certain as I melted against him. It was reckless. It was dangerous. It was everything I'd been fighting against. But it was real. For a week after that kiss, Ethan and I moved in some strange, invisible orbit around each other. Too close to ignore, too far to admit. He'd smile at me across the hall, quick and private, and I'd glance away, cheeks burning, only to find myself smiling later when no one was watching. But Ridgeway High had eyes everywhere. Whispers traveled faster than wildfire, and people started noticing. "Why's Reyes talking to you so much lately?" My best friend Jay narrowed his eyes as we walked home one afternoon. "He's not. We're just arguing less," I said quickly. Jay raised an eyebrow. "Aha. And I'm just the mayor of New York." The truth was, I didn't know how to explain it, not to Jay, not even to myself. How do you tell someone that the person you claimed to despise was suddenly the only one you wanted near you? But secrets have a way of cracking open. And ours did during the championship game. The whole town packed into Ridgeway's gym. Banners waving. Cheerleaders screaming. The smell of popcorn and sweat thick in the air. Ethan dominated the court, his body moving like fire and steel, scoring points that kept Ridgeway alive against their rival. The crowd adored him, chanting his name. But his eyes, his eyes kept flicking toward me in the stands. Late in the fourth quarter, with seconds left, Ethan made the winning shot. The gym exploded. The team swarmed him. Confetti rained down. Parents cried with pride. But instead of celebrating with them, Ethan broke free, sweat glistening on his skin, and headed straight for me. And then he did something reckless, something irreversible. He grabbed me, right there in front of the bleachers, and kissed me. The world froze. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The cheerleaders dropped their pom-poms. My notebook slid from my hand. And Ethan Ridgeway's golden boy, hero, untouchable star looked at me like I was the only person in existence. It lasted maybe 3 seconds. But it was enough. Enough to ignite a scandal. By Monday, my locker was vandalized. Freak. Traitor. Slurs scrawled in permanent marker. Ethan's teammates gave him the cold shoulder. Coaches muttered behind closed doors. And whispers followed us like shadows. Maybe we should cool it, I said one night, my voice trembling. We were sitting in his car. The windows fogged from our quiet breaths. They're not going to let this go. His jaw clenched. So what? Let them talk. You don't get it. I whispered. You're Ethan Reyes. You're the star. You've got everything to lose. He turned to me then, eyes blazing. You think I care about trophies and banners more than I care about you? I swallowed hard. I think you'll regret it. One day. The silence that followed was sharper than any insult. For the first time, I saw fear in Ethan's eyes, not fear of the crowd, but fear of me slipping away. He reached for my hand, tentative, as if I might pull away. Parker, he said softly, I've spent my whole life being what everyone else wanted. But when I'm with you, it's the first time I feel real. My throat tightened. I wanted to believe him. God, I did. But belief meant risking everything, my safety, my friends, my future. So I let go of his hand and walked away. The weeks that followed were agony. Ethan tried texts unanswered, calls ignored, showing up at my doorstep with that stubborn determination etched into his face. But I kept the walls up. It was easier to breathe without the weight of hope pressing down on me. Or at least, that's what I told myself. Until one rainy Friday night, the sound of knocking shook my window. I pulled the curtain back and there he was. Drenched, shivering, but eyes fierce. Are you insane? I hissed as I yanked the window open. Probably. He shot back, rain dripping from his hair. But I'm done pretending I can live without you. Before I could answer, he climbed inside, dripping all over the carpet, his chest heaving. You're scared. I get it. I'm scared too. But if I'm going down, Parker, I want it to be with you. And then, without hesitation, I pulled him into me. The kiss was desperate. Raw. Like two drowning people clinging to each other. The storm outside mirrored the storm inside us. But when the rain finally eased, something shifted. We didn't magically fix the world. People still whispered. Teachers still looked at us differently. But Ethan didn't back down. He held my hand in the hallway. He showed up at my table during lunch. He sat beside me when others turned their backs. Slowly, painfully, the noise dulled. People got bored. The scandal faded. One evening, months later, we found ourselves back on the same empty basketball court where it all began. The gym lights buzzed overhead, the air heavy with memories. You remember the first time you cornered me here? I teased, leaning against the wall. He smirked. Yeah. You looked like you wanted to punch me and kiss me at the same time. Maybe I did. He stepped closer, his hand brushing mine. And now I just want the kiss. And so he kissed me again. No crowd. No whispers. No fear. Just us. Life didn't turn into a fairy tale. We still had battles ahead, college applications, family expectations, a world that didn't always make room for boys like us. But standing there, Under those lights, Ethan's arms around me, I realized something. Love doesn't wait for the perfect moment. Carves out its own space, messy and brave, right in the middle of the chaos. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.